everybody, welcome back to my channel, and this is just a continuation of my quick little reading wrap-up series that I got going for Vlogmas. And today I'm going to be talking about my bottom 5 books of the year. I was going to say videos, but I meant books. My bottom 5 reads of the year. Books that I did not particularly enjoy. I am going to start with this one. This was my one-star read of the year, and it was The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. This was a Frankenstein retelling through the perspective of Elizabeth. Elizabeth was the ward of the Frankenstein family, and her job was basically to be Victor Frankenstein's friend, to, just do whatever it took to have him be happy and well-behaved and meet every whim of his. And it is because he kind of scared his parents. I think his parents were hoping that Elizabeth would have some control over him. And because the Frankenstein family basically rescued her from this pretty abusive situation, she looked at this as her saving grace, and it was something that she needed to continue doing, and she couldn't lose this opportunity. Because it starts off with Frankenstein going off to university, and she doesn't hear from him for a while, and now she's concerned that he's forgotten about her, and eventually the Frankenstein family will ask her to leave. But she has no money, she has nowhere to go, so she doesn't know what to do other than go find him and make him not forget her. Which then, after she finds him, kind of eases into the original part of Frankenstein. I didn't like Elizabeth. I didn't really like her as a person, and so I had a tough time rooting for her. I read it for that Halloween readathon that I took part in, so if you wanted to see more of my thoughts on that, just watch that video. I don't know which side it's going to come on, but I'm going to add it as a card, and you should watch that video. The next book on this list is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus, and the plot was okay. It was just really slow. It was about these 4 kids that were cousins that their parents were kind of disinherited, and so they get invited to work for their grandmother, and their parents make him take up that invitation so they can get back in the grandmother's good graces, so they can get their inheritance back. And so it follows that, and then it gets a little complicated. It was just really slow, and it didn't really get interesting until the last 100 pages or so. I also didn't love anybody, so there wasn't anybody I could really root for. I really need that in a book, and that book didn't provide it for me. Overall, an okay reading experience. I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. Usually how I do 2 or 3, because that is pretty in the middle. 2 is it's okay, but there was more that I disliked than I liked. And if it's 3, there was more things that I liked but disliked. If it's 3, there's a chance I may read it again. Unlikely, but there's a chance. And 2 is no, absolutely not. So I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. And I feel like this got a lot of hype too. So I think I'm one of the few people that didn't like this book. Ooh, I actually have this one as a half star. Excuse me, I realize I'm shedding. So we're fixing that. This third book is Bullfighting Stories by Roddy Doyle. I rated this 1.5 stars. So I read this for the Irish readathon back in March because Roddy Doyle is an Irish author. And I forced myself to read it because I really wanted to complete whatever prompt that he was for. And honestly, if it wasn't for that prompt, I would have DNF'd it. I didn't enjoy the reading experience. Because it was a series of short stories about middle-aged men and how it sucks to be a middle-aged man. I'm clearly not the target audience. The half star is really because Roddy Doyle did write his characters to be very believable, but was sad and repetitive. And so after a couple of these, I'm all right, I get it. It sucks to be old. It sucks to be middle-aged. And I'll find that out for myself eventually. But I will never read this again. It was 1.5 stars for me. Like The Cousins, this one I thought I would have liked more than I actually did because I heard a lot of hype for this. It's Mexican Gothic by Silvia Morena Garcia. With Mexican Gothic, the overall story was this main character hadn't heard from her sister in a while. Her sister had just gotten married into this very wealthy family, and so she's concerned for her sister, and so she drops what she's doing and goes to her sister just to make sure she's okay, but her sister is sick. And she's not sure why. It had potential. I liked the ambience the author created by our main character going to this creepy house. As soon as she gets there, things already are very disjointed. She doesn't feel super comfortable here. and how the mushrooms were incorporated at first. I'm like, ooh, this kind of makes sense. But as the story progressed, it just got a little too weird for me, especially the reveal with the family. It started off as one thing and it ended as another, and I think that's what threw me off. I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I said that. 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it. And now I'm kind of hesitant about reading the newest book that this author came out. Like, the cover looks great, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And this last book is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. I didn't love it, and I also didn't love Cemetery Boys. So I don't know if I'll read anything else by Aiden Thomas, at least not for a while. Lost in the Neverwoods is a Peter Pan retelling. Wendy had gone missing as a child, and when she went missing, so did her brothers. But she comes back and her brothers don't, and she doesn't remember what happened. And so it's her trying to like cobble together her life back. And now even though this happened when she's a kid, she's now in high school and she's prepping to go to university. When on her birthday, as she's going home, Peter Pan, person that she's been having dreams about, falls on her car. And that's when she realized, oh, Peter Pan, he's real. And maybe he can help me figure out what happened to my brothers. And so this investigation happens, and the reveal about her brothers, I think, is what saved it for me. Like, I loved the idea, but it was very slow. And speaking of the pacing, like, it was really slow, but the last 30 pages, it like moved like that. It was very fast. So the pacing was a little disjointed there. Like, the last 30 pages was when like everything just happened. The only thing it truly had going for me is like all my questions that I had were answered to my satisfaction by the end. So I did rate this 2 out of 5 stars. Which, not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed in because I thought the story had so much potential. I thought for sure, I was like, at the very least, 3.5, 4 stars. I thought I was really going to enjoy it, but alas, no. That's all I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments if you agreed with anything that I said today. What was your least favorite read of the year? And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye, guys.